Hi, gang. Welcome to another episode of Media Champions. I'm your host, Mary Treese Griffin in Atlanta. I got to say, every now and then we hit the jackpot with a guest who is going to fill your cranium with great knowledge when it comes to media and marketing. We've got MJ Perkins on the program from Los Angeles today. MJ, it's so nice to finally see you right here on Media Champions. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Definitely looking forward to getting into the nitty gritty of things. So let's
Ooh, I
start.
like
Ask
the
away.
nitty gritty. All right, I'm ready, and I'm gonna dive into the deep end. I mean, the deep, deep end with you here because anybody that goes to your page that knows who you've worked with knows that you know some stuff. John Legend, The Weekend. I mean, you're working with some big fish and helping to tell their story. And I know that you are a fan of authenticity. Can we dive right into the deep end and talk about how important authenticity is, especially when you're putting your brand out there and what people want?
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually need to update that website so because there's some other brands on there. But yeah,
Oh,
when
you've
it
got a lot. I've seen it. You've got a lot. The list is long and distinguished.
updated, um, but yeah, to answer your question, when it comes to being authentic, it's sort of like a two-way street, right? So coming from a um, creative marketing um, perspective of things, we want the brand to be authentic in how they relate to their fan base, to their customers. Um,
Hmm.
and so there's like a certain like journey that, I myself as a creative need to go down. Like, for example, when I worked with The Weekend for his show with Wade, like I was a fan. I am definitely a Weekend fan. What's it, like? I'm not like a hardcore Weekend fan up until that point, right? So
Hmm.
I literally spent like 2 weeks. I listened to like every single one of his albums. I went to all of his like fan websites, read everything on Reddit. I mean, just consumed information because I wanted to get like a real sense of like who he is as an artist and how his fans relate to him, right? On like a core level, and not just like somebody that knows that that's the weekend, but they know like these like intricate details about him. And it was like very necessary for me to do that because if I'm going to work with him, if I'm going to help create something along with him, I need to understand like where his heart and soul. So like when it comes to being authentic, I love using these words called like heart and soul because if you can connect with somebody on that deep personal level as a creative, then you can help broadcast that to their audience in a way that seems genuine. And now from like a branding perspective, not just with personal brand, but just as businesses in general, we see with TikTok how like a lot of brands are getting behind certain causes, right? And that's because like the younger generation, Generation Z, the TikTok generation, they're really looking at ways to connect with the brand outside of just like providing them with a product, right?
Right. Hmm.
So that's going to be like very key. So like when you see these brands getting behind these issues, they're really trying to be authentic in like how they are a brand representing like a person would interrelate with their own customers and their fan base.
You bring up a really, really valid point, and hey, what a great example of using the weekend. When anybody has a business, I don't care if they're in the entertainment business, if they're selling cars, candy bars, doesn't matter. You are talking about doing your research, having that authenticity there. So my next and last question, because we're almost out of time and I knew this was going to happen. Why is it a good idea for any brand if they have an internal media or marketing department or PR department? It's still a good idea for them to partner with a subject matter expert like you as well. Why?
Yeah, because a lot of times when you're dealing with brands and you're dealing with like a CMO, like there's so much things going on, so much activity going on within that like in-house department, and it's so focused on the brand itself that at times, one, they don't have the capacity to really get into like what we spoke about earlier, that word that we used earlier, like the nitty gritty and the heart and soul of their community, right? And there's like ways to create like data analysis that we can then use to make better creative decisions, and how we want to position ourselves as a brand. So, because of capacity level, an expert like myself who like knows how to hone in, get in there, dig up everything that we need and put together this as like a package, it's very important to help keep the business moving when there's other people who are handling so many other things and juggling so many other tasks.
For sure, for sure. And that is the ball game. And if I may say, anybody that partners with you, you could call yourself the nitty gritty committee because that seems to be your phrase. I love that. You get MJ Perkins, you get the nitty gritty committee. I like it. You're welcome. It's a gift.
Thank you very much. I'll take that.
Hey, please say you'll come back, MJ, because we have so much more that we want to uncover with you. And we'll have you back on the program so we can further go into the discussion of all the folks you're working with and the great advice that you give them.
Yeah, absolutely. And sorry, I've been shooting content all week, so this background is kind of messy. So next time, I promise it'll look more like design friendly. But that's just me coming from my creative brain talking.
I was going to say, it looks like a creative background to me, but we'll talk more about that too. Thank you, MJ, so much. And for the rest of you,
Cool.
if you are going to want to make a connect to MJ, we can do that for you. You can find MJ Perkins by finding us. We're right here at dailyadbrief.com. I'm Mary Treese Griffin in Atlanta. We'll see you next time for more Media Champions.
Simplify presents Addressable CTV, combining the power of TV with the targeting and attribution of digital. Simplify's Addressable CTV delivers massive reach with the ability to scale without sacrificing precision. TV buyers can generate incremental reach with household-level targeting, frequency controls, reporting, and insights. To learn more about Simplify's Addressable CTV and what it can do for your clients, visit simply.fi.